I hope you can hear me now.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
We are giving you 2 minutes. You can switch on. You can switch off your space so that you don't listen to yourself again. That's why we are having this miscommunication.
We are going to talk about the fertilizer scandal and bad seeds. What most people don't know, a colleague of mine has tried to talk about it, but what most people don't know is that this is the season that the fertilizer scandal came out. But last year, 11 months ago, there were bad seeds. People in Baringo were given seeds that after they planted, they only harvested cobs. Can you imagine that? So you guys, you need to think about, is this a sabotage or what is this? What is happening to the food security? Na ni vizuri, by the way, tufikirie what happens to that farmer when he's away from Nairobi. When these people came to do a committee for and hear from the farmers, they were given a report walifaa walete Nairobi. Our say report yenye walipewa walete, they wrote that report and shelved it. And then the report that came to the Senate was not the report that they took from the farm. Now you can imagine this farmer has loans. Huyu farmer last season alikuwa sabotaged. This season amekuwa sabotaged. So inamaanisha ikifika next year umse hatakuwa na doya school fees. Sasa kuna food insecurity. A farmer whose main economic thing is farming, sahi hana food. Now this is manufactured poverty. That is how they keep us in line. This person now has lifestyle diseases because of depression, stress. Anafaa alipe school fees, hana pesa. Last season haku harvest anything, this season hata harvest anything. Most probably next season they will come up with something else to make that farmer remain poor so that they can depend on that MP, on that woman rep, on that governor, and all those leaders. But again, that is what the government does for you. As I finish, why are we here? It is because the people that have been put in those offices, they don't have merits. We lack meritocracy. Umse hajui policies zenye anafaa kufuata. You can imagine a whole CS is being asked if they know about that fertilizer. And what do they say? They say, my boss knows that there was fake fertilizer. And then first of all, before aseme hivyo, anakata anasema mimi sijui anything about fake fertilizer. Someone who is supposed to stand on such an important ministry. Again, integrity issues. So this person hana merits. This person does not know the policies because they don't have any merit to be in that office. And they do not follow the rule of law. So they have integrity issues. Medics, it is important that you know that the person who is chairing your Senate Committee for Health is Mandago. Someone who is under scrutiny for embezzlement, fraud, corruption of 1.1 billion is overseeing your committee in the Senate. So that when you start asking why you are not being posted, why they want to not follow that CBA policy that you guys signed, you know who is behind that thing. We want the president to understand that being fired does not insulate you from prosecution. What were State House, kama mnasikia hii, go and tell Mr. President that we have said that even if you fire them, it does not insulate them from prosecution. Right now, we have food insecurity due to that fertilizer scandal, due to the bad seeds that were provided to the farmers. And now we want to sit pretty and look pretty as if nothing is happening in the country. Repentance, Mr. President, without restitution is just hot air. Hakuna kitu yenye umefanya hapo. Sasa umse ameenda amefanya kabineti yake, hiyo haina shida. But sasa aliwafanya very ceremoniously. Amewaita mkutano, amewapea food, wamekaa hapo, wamediscuss vitu zao, alafu after a few days ndo anakuja na atuambia, by the way guys, I fired these people. We are not stupid. You gave them a state-of-the-art send-off. Like they are going to represent us in a very lucrative spot. But we are watching. Now he's creating room for marriage between the government and the opposition, which is not about them, the government, or the opposition, and it seems like they're forgetting that. It is about the people of Kenya giving their lives for the rule of law to be upheld. Finally, this is not just about the people who have given their lives. It is also about those people whose lives have been brutally taken by the police. Mr. President, this is my parting shot. There is nothing as dangerous as a broken and desperate person fighting for a better future because he will do everything in his power to survive. Chelangat Mutai died on the Sabasaba of 2013 like a true hero. Let's give her flowers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mercy, for that. Mwenye masikio amesikia. Lekish.
Hi, Amerix. Before he speaks, I just want to say that deal JKIA is going to be signed in 1 month. So, guys, we need to, make pressure, and also we are going to court tomorrow to make them release the documents and make them public for participation.
All right. So you're going to court tomorrow?
Yes.
Please do. I think I'll create something like an mchanga or something so that this public litigation or public interest litigation, we can have a fund where people, if Willis or whatever lawyers go to court, can be sending them some mafuta here, kidogo, and credit. So we will follow it up and see how it goes on. Thank you very much. Rufus?
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. And thanks, Amerix, for the opportunity. So my input on this conversation is that nobody is talking about the money. So the way we conventionally view the money, it's something that we use in our day-to-day lives. It's something that we earn when you work a job, when you do a business, but there's more to money, and I think everyone needs money. So the way, personally, I view money, it's a technology that we use to store value. In a way, or in a very simplistic way, if you go and work somewhere and provide labor that is worth, let's say, 10 meals, then you need to have a technology that stores that value, so that when you need that value in future, you're able to recoup that 10 meals, either for yourself or for your kids. But then the current system that we have with the Kenya shilling hasn't been working well, and this is due to the current monetary policy we are having. So if you've wondered or seen how, let's say, a primary school or secondary school teacher was able to raise a family of 5 in the 90s, have a decent home and perhaps even a car, and today that reality is impossible, it's mainly because the money is broken. So we don't talk about these things, and I think it's very important that everyone, as we go through this civic education, tries to understand what money is and how the current administration is making it so worse that even for the most corrupt guys, they understand the money is broken. If you look at some of these corrupt politicians, they're simply converting their Kenya shillings into either dollars or just buying real estate because they know that the M2 money supply in Kenya is being expanded. So over the last 1 year, M2 money supply was expanded by 6.1%, which means that if you are an average Kenyan and your income didn't go up by 6.1%, then the purchasing power of your money has really gone down. Your personal economy is simply losing. So you're working hard and hard to keep earning an income, but the purchasing power of your money is simply just going down. So I believe it's time we start questioning these things, bring transparency to understand how much Kenya shillings are supplying in the economy, how much of this amount of money is being added into our economy, because everything is added out work being done, it's value being stolen from your money, the person who is holding Kenya shillings. So think about it this way. If you have a pot of boiling tea, which is worth, let's say, 10 cups, and somebody comes and adds a glass of water in that, and then fetches a glass of tea, then they didn't create new tea. They basically stole from everyone who owned the previous tea. So that's the same way it applies. So the moment you see money being expanded by 6.1% in a year, this is how you're supposed to interpret it. So if every one of you guys who are in this space have contributed economically to grow the economy by 5%, every farmer who has grown food, every teacher who have dedicated their time to teach for a whole year, and every other person in the economy who have contributed value to the economy. And once you calculate all that into what we call the GDP, and the economy has grown by, let's say, 5%, and then the government expands the monetary supply of the Kenya shilling, what basically that means is that all the contribution we have made into the economy is being stolen by expanding the monetary supply. So when I was listening to Jimmy Wanjege talking about the expansion or the sources of money for the government, yes, he talked about raising taxes, money through taxes. He talked about raising money through debt to fit a deficit, which is limited by the constitution. He missed the point that the Kenya shilling is the one true asset that the government uses to take value even from the money that you hide on your mattress. It's not safe. The government has the ability to devalue that by expanding the amount of money supply in the system. And that's a really important conversation that everyone needs to have. So once we answer the question of what is money, how is it created, is there transparency, then it will become clear that we have to address these issues with the central bank monetary policy.
Thank you very much, Rufus. Soko analyst, are you there? You can raise your issue, Soko analyst. There is a petition we took to different institutions seeking the arraignment of Farah Maalim. I don't know how far it went, but I'm looking for Soko analyst wherever he is. If he's not there, can give this opportunity to this young man called Milton. Milton, what do you want to say, sir? Welcome.
Thank you so much. There's something that I've been really thinking about. Whenever we've had this citizen assembly, we've always had some members of parliament also coming in. Another conversation, I really concur with what Jimmy said about our debt, and I just think the best thing is just to default. But now, on top of that, our recurrent expenditure is something that is a very huge thing to this small country. Yeah. So I was thinking about this, and I wanted maybe Willis to advise us. Yeah. How do citizens come up with a referendum? Because at the moment, the country is ripe for it. How do we come up with a referendum? The IBC is going to be formed and wherever. How can the citizens come up with a referendum? Because we are paying people too much, and the country can't sustain that. And also, I think we also paying the so-called Wakora a lot of money. And then I don't know how we are going to also balance the issue of integrity in leadership. Because most of the time you get that we like most people vie in Kenya so that they get protected. You find a member of parliament maybe has been involved in cases of money laundering, or maybe a foreign nationals gold and such, like criminals. Most of them usually vie so that when they're members of parliament or they're in leadership, it's at least easier for them to maneuver the cases. Because when you're a member of parliament and you're a criminal, there's a say someone once told me that the government loves criminals in this way. If you're a criminal, so for example, let me say someone like John Waluke, that is a vote for the government in any bill they will bring. Whether they say that tomorrow, like we are supposed to like behead everyone, he will vote yes. Why? Because he knows that if he doesn't vote yes, the next minute the DCA will be there, and wherever he'll be accused even of terrorism. Right? That is the country we are living in. So the issue of integrity, how are we going to balance it next time so that people who have very bad like reputation and all that stay are prevented from vying? Maybe Willis can tell us about that, because that is something that it has been really traumatizing me most of the time. I keep thinking about it, because if we don't solve the issue of integrity, we are still going to have animals, not even human beings, very bad animals in parliament. And with that, they will always, because they will always be representing us, they will always vote for the wrong things because they fear being arrested. Most of these MPs, even senators who maybe they were in opposition and joined the government side, most of them, if you dig down, you will find out that someone ate something at KPLC, someone was caught with there's a police officer who told me last year that there's a certain member of parliament who he jumped from ODM to supporting the government side. He told me that they arrested him with fake money. Yeah, they arrested a certain member of parliament with fake money. So this guy, he has cases deep down. So he has to support the government in whichever situation. So maybe Willis can advise us on that, because we need to reduce salaries and we need integrity to be something that we keep top notch. Thank you.
All right. Willis will tell us that as we wind up. So, co-analyst, 3 minutes.
Amerix, thank you very much. I don't have much to say, but one, I would like to urge every young person in Kenya to get an ID so that we can actually be able to vote out these people come 2027. Then number two, we need to actually study and understand how to recall an MP, because I believe if we can recall 50 MPs, we can have the remaining ones and impeach the president. Then number three is we need to understand that Ruto loves criminals, because that's the only way he can be able to leverage against them and get what he wants. Right now, every person is actually very angry and bitter. So let us keep up the engagement. Let us educate our brothers and sisters in the up country. Let us talk to our fathers, our parents, our grandparents, for them to understand what is really going on. And lastly, we also need to say hello to EPRA, because they've gone behind and increased the road levy from 18 to 25 shillings, and this is very illegal. So as we plan for Tuesday, we also need to look at the hanging fruits so that people can actually realize that we are not joking and we are very serious. Other than that, thank you so much for Amerix and Cyprian for this space. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Straight to the point. Willis, there's that EPRA, there's that levy that they have increased 18 to 25. Is it legal? Is that thing legal?
It's obviously not legal. One thing I must point out at this point is that for all of us as citizens, what I like about this platform is that it brings everybody across the board. People working in government, people have access to documents, people have access to information. What we need to do as we are continuing with this struggle is encourage our people in those spaces to become whistleblowers. If you don't have the courage to speak openly, you can share this information even to Amerix, to myself, or to any other person who you believe has the courage of their conviction to speak out. Collect as much as you can. Your brother, your sister, your friend, your father, your auntie works in government, has access to what is going on. Please collect as much information as you can. You can hand it over confidentially to those who are courageous enough to face the public. Once we have this trove of evidence, we will be able to now take on this system. I say that because you find most of these complaints, they are actually illegalities. These are criminal enterprise that is going on in the country as we speak. And to take down that criminal enterprise, part of it is we must get it on the streets, but also if we are to use their system, we must use that court platform to expose them and to call them to account. Even the CSS who've been sacked, it cannot just go for nothing. Those CSS, some of them were complicit in criminal activities. They need to be charged. If the DPP will not charge them, if I have access
to any evidence that implicates them or any other lawyer. And there's already a team of lawyers who are out here trying all they can to collect evidence, and they are willing to present cases in court to even privately prosecute those CSS to answer for these crimes. For those of our people who have been killed, those of our people who have been maimed, in as much as Comey has now resigned, Comey must still be called to book. In as much as Kindiki has been dissolved, Kindiki must still be called to book. Those lives cannot have been lost for nothing. They must answer for the criminality under the command responsibility as we know it. And I was suggesting to some of my colleagues, and something we are exploring, there is this concept of universal declaration, jurisdiction, that in as much as you may think that you control the courts in Kenya, I can be free to file a case against you in an EU jurisdiction that recognizes the criminal concept of universal jurisdiction. So if you're William Ruto sitting in Kenya, you think that you're immune to prosecution in Kenya, we are still free to even file a case against him under the command responsibility for these officers who have gone rogue. And we say, this unit has killed this many Kenyans. And you will see a warrant of arrest being issued against William Ruto in an European country or any other jurisdiction that recognizes the universal jurisdiction in place. Like happened when you witnessed when a court in, some small court in France one day issued a warrant of arrest against Kagame. It was because, I mean, look here, you are being mentioned adversely, there's evidence that seeks to imply, and they issued warrants of arrest for him to appear in that court. They must deal with that case diplomatically and to deal with the issue that you arrest. We must be able to also call our own to account, if not locally, internationally. And lawyers are able and they are willing to go this far to make
so what
sure.
What is the first thing we will start with this week? I heard Nelson saying he's going to court tomorrow.
Yes, now
what are we doing ourselves?
So Nelson's case, he has already collected evidence. What I will urge, that in these other cases, people to collect evidence and share them. Number two, as you suggested, sometimes they may need, you can even do a citizens forum. You raise funds to support lawyers who may be doing these cases outside there and may need some support, or to file those cases, getting filing fees, whatever it is. You can put that also in as a team. And you get somebody who is independent, transparent, to manage and oversee. Amrex yourself, you are able to, I believe you have the confidence of the people to oversee something like that. But the main thing is that even when these cases come up, we turn up in court. We must show the courts that this case does not belong to the lawyer. This case belongs to the people of Kenya, and it is being pursued for their interest. Thank you very much, Amrex.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us this Sunday. And it has been a great Sunday. Of course, everyone will have wanted to be given a mic, but as we say, it is not as easy as we expect.